Welcome to Mouth of the Holler Sports. I'm Cole. We have Brax and Jax here with us again. Fellas, we've had a pretty exciting week, haven't we?
Yeah.
We got to make a trip to Rupp Arena last weekend to watch my wife's favorite team, and she's kind of won her daughter over, the Tennessee Volunteers. But it was a fun trip, a lot of excitement that went on while we were up there. Have a few different stories that we can tell of everything that went on. We get up there, the day we went, tickets were on sale for $2 in the upper deck up there. And I mean, you're never going to get in Rupp Arena for that cheap, probably ever again. Of course, especially watch Kentucky. So I told them I never thought their first trip to Rupp Arena would be to watch Tennessee and not Kentucky play. But that's just kind of the way it felt. Couldn't really pass up on the opportunity to go watch some first and second round games, I guess, while we were up there. The initial plan was to go watch Thursday night when Tennessee and Wofford played, and let's see, Auburn. No, they played earlier in the day.
UCLA and Utah State.
Yeah, UCLA and Utah State played in game one. So we bought 4 tickets together for $2 a piece. Me being the person trying to save money and not spend an extra $1 or $2, tried to buy another $2 ticket that was away from them because I just figured there'd be space to where we could, as far as being able to sit together, I was like, there'll be space. Well, we get up there, plans didn't go exactly the way we wanted them to. I get there, I didn't realize that StubHub has instant downloads, and so we got those tickets immediately. So when I bought the separate ticket, I never did receive the email with the ticket in it immediately. It just said it would be delivered by game time. So we get up there, about 6:15-ish, I guess. The game started at 6:50. So we get there, my ticket still has not came through. So I start trying to contact StubHub and different things. Rachel would contact them on the way up through there, and they was trying to figure it out, like, it should be delivered by game time. Sometimes it's just closer to game time before they deliver it. So anyway, it's getting closer to game time, and I told them, I said, y'all just going in, I'll figure it out, I'll get in there. So, so 6:50 gets here, still have no ticket, so I contact StubHub and get a full refund for my ticket. They couldn't get a hold of the seller, so I tried to buy another ticket, which I've not bought a whole lot of tickets online, so I didn't really understand. You needed to look for the instant download and stuff like that. I will know that from now on. So I bought another ticket. Was not an instant download. I contacted the seller. They still didn't release the ticket. So I'm sitting out there where you gotta go through security. They've already went in where you scan your little barcode or whatever. I don't guess I've probably been to a game since it's all went electronic, to where you just put it on your phone and they scan it or whatever. I'm used to the paper tickets. I guess I'm old school, and that's just kind of the way I like it. So anyway, I contact StubHub again. I'm like, hey, listen, how long can I go before I get a refund? Because I was just going to go to the box office. My $2 ticket was now I'm going to have to pay $20 because that's what they're selling for at the box office. So they're like, you got to wait an hour. I'm like, well, great. I'm going to miss at least the entire first half of the game, which at that point was Tennessee and Wofford. So it comes up. I let the hour pass by. I finally go to the box office, get a ticket for $20. I'm mad because if I'd just spent like 5 more, I could have probably got an instant download or something earlier, and we could all went in together. So I get in Tennessee Wofford with like 15 minutes to go in the game. So I've missed like basically the entire game. But it is what it is. We got to sit together. Like I said, tickets were in the upper deck. We were kind of in the corner, had really good seats. So we watched that game. During the course of that game, we looking around the arena, and we get to move down. We move down basically right on the sideline where the players come back into the locker room for game 2. So we got to sit kind of on UCLA sideline. Boys got to give high fives to the players and coaches and different things like that. So it was a pretty cool night. So we're planning on staying that night. We're going back to my parents' house who live in Somerset or Science Hill, Kentucky. We stayed with them. We're going to come back the next day. They had baseball practice. But then we got to talking like, well, we may just want to go back. So I ended up canceling practice, which is completely out of the norm for me. They can tell you I don't miss practice. I figure if you're gonna play, you're gonna do it and try to do it right. You need to practice. But we spring break this week and so are getting ready. So we have some kids traveling and different things like that. So that helped make the decision. So we decided to go back. We stayed with my parents on Friday. We decided to make the trip back up to Lexington on Saturday. This time we're going as we're watching, and we're going with no tickets, and we're hoping that they're going to drop, but because they had kind of previously, it's like, well, they may drop. I'm kind of learning this whole ticket thing as we go. So we get up to Rupp with no tickets. We go to the box office there, like, I think it was $60. Of course, again, me trying to get in places as cheap as I possibly can. I'm like, well, I'm going to go out here and see if I can find a scalper or something like that. We go up there, and I'm going back and forth with a couple of different guys, who were Louisville fans, L's down. But we went ahead and we found two on StubHub that were instant downloads for like $28. Of course, by the time you add the fees, it was a little bit more and different things like that. So we still needed two more because our daughter didn't go with us that night. She stayed back with my parents. So we hit the scalpers back up, was able to get that in. Of course, we missed about the first half of the first game was it. And that one was Auburn and Creighton, which was a pretty good game. We got in there right with about 2 or 3 minutes to go in the first half of that game. So we got to see most of it. Pretty much right back in the same seats. Was a little more on the baseline for that. Again, once we waited through about half of the second game, the Tennessee game, we basically went down to the same spot we were at the previous night. So at halftime of the Tennessee game, we'd go down. They got to give high fives to players and stuff. Kind of a cool moment. Really, I mean, it's a fun atmosphere, regardless. If it's your team or not, I would encourage you to go to games like that if they're ever close to you. It was a pretty cool atmosphere. We took a lot of video, did stuff, so we put together, I don't know, 7 or 8 minute video of just our time while we were up there, and we're going to go through that. I'm going to show you that footage, and then once we get back, we'll talk a little bit more, and I'll let them talk about kind of some stuff that they liked while we went up there. So I hope you enjoyed this.
Hey, welcome here with Mouth of the Holler Sports. I'm Cole. We're here at the Auburn and Creighton game here in the round of 32 right now with 16 minutes to go in the game. It's 45-42 Auburn. Pretty electric atmosphere right now, and we'll keep you updated along the way.
So right now they're doing a dance off. The mascots are. Comment down below who you think wins. I think it's safe to say Auburn's mascot won. Unless they have some miraculous comeback in them. This is over. Listen to this atmosphere. It is crazy.
We're back here at the Rupp Arena with 2:27 to go here. Auburn's leading 72-65. Auburn's little line shooting free throws here. Pretty cool atmosphere. A lot of excitement going on.
Interviews coming soon.
Featuring UCLA versus Tennessee.
It's a good night. You can't hear yourself thinking here.
We're Rupp Arena, getting the world famous Rupp Arena ice cream. How's it taste, fellas? Good. Heading back to our seats for game 2 here. All right, I'm here with Mouth of the Holler Sports. You're a Tennessee fan here. What's your name, sir?
Mark Lane.
Mark Lane. Have you been here? Tonight's your first night here, or did you come Thursday as well?
This is my first night here. This is my first game, actually.
Oh, is it? First Tennessee game ever?
Yep.
Awesome. Well, how do you think the Vols are going to do tonight?
I think they're going to do great today.
Oh, good. You think it'll make the trip to the Final Four?
You know it.
Okay, well, with all these Auburn fans here, what do you think they're going to be able to do here at Rupp to get that smell out of here with all the Auburn fans?
What do you say?
With all the Auburn fans here, what do you think they're going to do to get the smell out of here with all the Auburn fans here?
Give it away.
All right, well, thank you. Good luck.
And guard, the 6'3" junior from Los Angeles, California, number 55, Sky Clark. And guard, the 5'9" senior from Long Island, New York, number 5, Sakai Senior. And guard, the 6'4" senior from Montana, California, number 15, Jeremiah Nation. And guard, the 6'5" mid-year from Nashville, Tennessee, number 2, Chance Levine. And for Tennessee, Rick Barnes.
We're here at the 4-minute mark. UCLA's up 23-21 to our top. A lot of excitement going out there. Tennessee fans doesn't have anybody outnumbered right now. This atmosphere's pretty electric. Pretty good game going so far. We've moved a little closer to the floor. 16 under timeout. Second half, Tennessee's up 40-31. An electric atmosphere in here. The Vols crowd seems to be bringing it pretty good right now. So we'll see how this thing finishes up. We're at the under 4 timeout right now. Tennessee's leading 61-44. Pretty much controlled most of the second half. This place is cleared out. I think it's still too much orange in Rupp Arena, but we'll see how it finishes. It's been a fun atmosphere to be in. Arena, mouth of the Holler Sports. Win 67-58, goes on to Sweet 16. Hopefully that'll be against the Wildcats, but we'll see. We'll have a Sweet 16, SEC Sweet 16 matchup. We'll see y'all later.
All right, I hope you enjoyed that. That was just a few moments. We had a lot more video, but I tried to condense it down as much as I could, so it didn't take too much time, but it was a fun atmosphere. Did y'all have a good time when we did it there?
Oh, yeah.
Not one, what was probably your favorite part of going?
Either giving the players high fives or the ice cream.
The ice cream. What about you, Jack? So,
Probably just the atmosphere.
okay, the atmosphere. And going into
atmosphere was better second night.
yeah, and as far as when we went Saturday, of course, then you've got the games, but you had Auburn, #1 overall seed, Creighton, who upset, well, if you call it an upset, of Louisville, which was a good game. I mean, and that game stayed close for quite a while. It was well into the second half where Auburn finally pulled away a little bit. But the atmosphere, Auburn had a lot of fans. There was a lot of orange in that place between Auburn and Tennessee. And there was a lot of Kentucky fans. I think just local people went, again, for just the opportunity to be able to go. But Auburn fans, Creighton had their little section, UCLA had theirs, and different things like that. But then once the Auburn game was over, then the UT fans made their voices heard. What about the second night? What was your all's favorite? The atmosphere I thought was a whole lot better than the second night going. It was super loud, and kind of the fan base is going, which I think sometimes you get the SEC rooting for each other. I know they hate each other in conference, but I felt like even first game, it felt like Tennessee fans and even Kentucky fans were even cheering Auburn on a little bit during that. As far as the second game with Tennessee, that game stayed close through the first half of it, and then Tennessee made a little bit of a push right there late, right before halftime. They were down one, and then I think hit a corner three, and then they kind of went almost a little half-court trap, got still, and Lanier hit one, and then they pushed their lead up to like 7, and they kind of controlled most of the second half and pushed the lead up close to 20 and different things. But it was just, for me, it was a cool experience to go with you all. I got to go in '98. I got to go to Rupp and watch the entire first round of the NCAA tournament. I remember Oklahoma State was there when Eddie Sutton was coaching them. The year Duke was there, and I remember they played Radford, and they played the late game that night, and the entire place in there, a lot of Kentucky fans came, and it was, let's go Radford, let's go. And I just remember it being a fun atmosphere. I was probably, I think, 11, no, I wouldn't have been 11, I was 13, I believe, when we went to that game. It was a cool atmosphere. Hopefully the same thing happens. The year I went, Kentucky won the national championship. We're kind of hoping that holds true to this year, but we'll see. But anything else that we got to interview a kid, and it was odd, we got to interview him, Mark, I believe was his name, and once the game's over, they was sitting somewhere. We seen him on the Jumbotron during the game, but then as we were going to our car in the parking garage, we ran back into him and his family. But they, I think, said we're from Harlan, so we appreciate him doing the interview with us. It's cool getting to meet other fans and different things like that. Still not sure what they're going to do to get all that orange smell and all that stuff out of Rupp Arena. It was a fun atmosphere, but there's by far too much orange in there. But overall, it was a fun atmosphere. Is there anything else about that?
Combined with Auburn and Tennessee, a lot of orange.
Yes, between the two, it was definitely a lot of orange. All right, moving on.
I guess we won't talk about the Ziegler flipping the Kentucky logo off.
Well, yeah, I think Lamont Butler kind of predicted a win in a quote, and then the picture floating around with Ziegler. But it is what it is. It's a rivalry, and none of that off the court stuff's going to matter when the ball's tipped. None of that stuff will matter. It will just go into what it should be, and the game being played on the court. So. But the first 2 rounds are really exciting. We'll start with the first 4, the very first game of the tournament with the first 4. We're going to show you some highlights of just some little clips and different things like that of here. But again, we kind of mentioned this last week with Morristown's own Micah Simpson here for Alabama State against St. Francis. So you've kind of got this here. We're going to kind of watch what's going on. He makes the pass deep down the court. Here, ball gets hit and deflected, puts it in. St. Francis ends up getting beat in a heartbreaker by Alabama State.
And then go down to D3.
And then, like yesterday or something, I seen ESPN popped up where St. Francis, who just got beat, is moving not to just Division II, but they're moving down to D3. So that was kind of a odd little story there. The next little clip we're going to show here is Gonzaga and Houston. And at this point, it is a 2-point game. Houston stepping to the line there to make a little bit of a comeback here. They hit the free throw, come back. Gonzaga comes down, and I don't really know what they're doing. They try to dribble around and they bobble the ball around, it's blocked, and I don't know what that was just kind of a terrible in-game situation that went on. But they didn't even get a shot up really. So Houston held on to the end. We're going to see kind of get challenged there. Next game we're going to look at here is BYU and Wisconsin. 6 versus a 3. Wisconsin comes down, has a shot right here at the end. Ball goes up. They complain and think they're getting fouled and different things. They miss it. BYU, it's Mark Pope, former school, coming away with a victory. So that was kind of a big win for them and their program and different things. Moving here, one of the best finishes of the tournament so far, Colorado State and Maryland. 70-68 games, 12 seconds to go. Colorado State gets it. Kind of dribbles around here. Hits a 3. Go up to 6.1 seconds left. Maryland gets it in. So gets down to about 3 seconds left. Call the timeout. And then here another kind of local kid with the Gillespie kid. Jackson played against his cousin last year in an all-star basketball game.
Terrific playmaking and pass block.
In Maryland, he's one who makes kind of the inbound pass here.
To keep its season alive.
He makes the inbound pass. Derek Queen goes up. Whether he walked or not, we don't know. It didn't get called. He banks one in at the buzzer. But really, I think probably the only buzzer beater of the tournament so far, ain't it? I don't think there's been any other shots at the end. Then moving on to a game we were more concerned about. This is kind of a turning point. Kentucky went up by quite a bit. And then they miss a shot here. Illinois gets the rebound. Ole just kind of missed one. Ball gets hit from Lamont Butler, being the great defender that he is. Sneaks right in front of the guy, steals it, passes to Brandon Garrison for an and one, which kind of pushed that game where it could have got close. The Illinois crowd was starting to get into it there, but they kind of got it there and was able to hold on. And Kentucky win that game for a big win for Mark Pope in his first year at Kentucky here. And then kind of last game, which I was talking about with Tennessee, this is kind of the sequence we were talking about earlier. When they were down 1 here with 2:58 to go in the first half. Ziegler drives down, goes at the game in the corner, he gets a 3. And then UCLA comes back, Tennessee scores again here on free throw, and they were able to get a steal here. That was just kind of a turning point in that game, being down 1, and then they went on a little bit of a run there late. That place was going crazy at that point with this steal, when Lanier was able to get that and go down and get the layup, and Tennessee took the lead, I think, at 7.5. They never really looked back there, so it kind of took over. So again, the first and second rounds, the play-in games, all that stuff, that was really, I mean, it was fun. This ain't really been your typical year where you've had a whole lot of what I would call upsets with like your mid-majors or anything like that. So if you're the type who likes that, it may not be the tournament for you. I think I believe, where the top 4 seeds in each region, I believe this was the first time since like 1985 or something, that the top 4 seeds in each bracket had moved on and nobody had been upset in that first round. But then that brought you to day 2 with John Calipari and Arkansas going against Rick Pitino. I think that was, when the brackets came out, that was one of the most anticipated games, I think, for second round, hoping that would come to existence. And that was kind of the figure. St. John's has been really good defensively all year, but the question has been, can they score? And in this game,
They could not.
they couldn't. And Calipari ends up with another big win. moving on to the Sweet 16. I felt for Arkansas and Calipari to move to the Sweet 16, then BYU moving to the Sweet 16, and all that happened on Saturday. That put a ton of pressure on Mark Pope, the school he'd left. The coach who had been here and went to a different SEC school, I thought it put a lot of pressure on him, but they came out. Kentucky really took care of business against Illinois, and really the game was, I mean, when Kentucky kind of pushed that lead out, Illinois made a run late, but Kentucky kind of did what they needed to do. They're starting to play a little bit better defense, and if they can continue to score, who knows, they may be able to make a run here, but we'll see. Going down, moving on to just the next little thing, talking about the Sweet 16 coming up here. Jax, you got the matchups of who will be playing. Give us the region and who will be playing each other.
We'll start from the south. It'll be Auburn and Michigan, Ole Miss and Michigan State in the south. In the west, it'll be Florida, Maryland, and Texas Tech and Arkansas. In the east, it'll be Duke, Arizona, and Wisconsin, Alabama. In the Midwest, it'll be.
It's going to be Wisconsin. They got beat, didn't they?
Oh yeah, they did.
You wrote that down wrong. BYU. BYU and Alabama.
BYU and Alabama. Houston and Purdue in the Midwest, and Kentucky and Tennessee.
And one game that early, that second round game with Florida and UConn, what a game that was. Florida, I mean, they didn't particularly play that well throughout the game, but they kept it close enough. It was kind of one of those games that you looked and UConn had really outplayed them, but you looked and Florida was just down by 4 or 6 points or something like that. So it wasn't really that bad of a deal going into it. But then their guards, Clayton Jr., he hit a couple big threes there late to kind of extended that lead. And I mean, I'm not a huge Florida fan, but I'm not a Dan Hurley fan, so I was happy to see him go.
Especially him crying.
Yeah. Him using some choice language in the locker, or walking back to the locker room after the game and then crying. I'm not sure anybody felt sorry for him. He kind of brings any criticism on himself because of his attitude, and so I didn't feel too sorry for him getting beat. And after games this year, him pointing at his rings and different things like that, taunting crowds. So I was not too disappointed to see him go. But when you get to look at the Sweet 16, there's not a bad matchup. I mean, usually Sweet 16, again, you've had a mid-major who's won at some point, and you might set up a Sweet 16 matchup that may not necessarily be great to watch. But with the games you just listed there, there's not a bad one in it, which is not really the norm for this. But this year, I mean, when you're looking at it, I think when you look at the point spreads and different things like that, everything I think is under double digits. So, I mean, I think probably the highest one might be Duke, Arizona or something. It was at like 9.5 or something like that. So, I mean, every game should be a good one, and a lot of toss-ups. So it's just going to be, it's all about matchups when you come to the NCAA tournament and who's getting hot at the right time. So, but we're going to go down through here and give a few fun facts about your Sweet 16 teams as we go down through here. If y'all got anything to add in here, you can. The first thing we're going to talk about is the Alabama Crimson Tide. They are the only major university with an elephant as their mascot. You have a lot of cats and dogs and stuff like that, but Alabama is the only major university with an elephant as a mascot. Some notable alumni for them: Harper Lee, Paul Bear Bryant, Nick Saban, not to mention a list of football players. Robert Orr used to wear the Band-Aid over his eye, who played basketball player, but you got Derrick Henry, Tua Tagovailoa, Jalen Hurts, who went to Oklahoma. But I mean, all these people played at Alabama, so they got a long list of notable alums from their past. The saying "Roll Tide," it was said to depict the Alabama team running onto the football field. It was believed that the team looked like the tide was rolling in, creating the phrase "Roll Tide." So you hear that. I know your basketball team the last 2 years, yours not this year, but last year was the Tide, and that's why we'd always break it down with "Roll Tide." But I didn't know where that saying came from really, but that makes sense for the reason that they said it. Their coach is Nate Oates, another one who's a little bit on the arrogant side. Final Fours, they have been to one, which was last year, and they have not won any national championships. So next team, your Arizona Wildcats. Notable alum, you may know former tight end for the New England Patriots, Rob Gronkowski, who played at Arizona. Gilbert Arenas, he was a good player. I have to mention Miles Simon and Mike Bibby, who beat us in the 1997 national championship game, the game that kept us away from a three-peat. The coach who coached them to that national championship in '97 was Luke Olson, who I think was a really good guy. I think one of the things I remember hearing about him was he was a coach that did not cuss. So I always respected that about him. They've had 4 Final Four appearances in 1988, 94, 97, and 2001. But one national championship, and their current coach is Tommy Lloyd. Moving on to the Arkansas Razorbacks. Notable alum, Jerry Jones, Dallas Cowboys owner, Pat Summerall, former NFL player, Cliff Lee, former Major League Baseball pitcher. The coach who coached them to their one national championship was Nolan Richardson. They won it back in 1994. Back in those days, Kentucky and Arkansas had a huge rivalry going on, a lot of good games going on then. They've been to 6 Final Fours. Their kind of saying is Woo Pig Sooie. And their head coach is none other than former Kentucky coach John Calipari. Are we rooting for them at all in this? So we're hoping Texas State.
The only thing I'm rooting them for is if we make it to the national championship, I want to play them.
That would be a tense national championship game if somehow Kentucky and Arkansas made it there to play each other. The Auburn Tigers is your next team. Notable alumni, Tim Cook, who is the Apple CEO, Charles Barkley, and Bo Jackson. Those are some good names. Barkley, he's one of the best in the business on TV right now. Was a great basketball player, but love listening to him with his, him being, he's just hilarious. I mean, you listen to him, whatever hits his brain, it's coming out of his mouth usually, and he doesn't care what anybody thinks. Him and that group with TNT, they do a great job of doing it, and then of course the coverage of the NCAA tournament do a great job as well. They're kind of one of their traditions is Toomer's Corner. So they take toilet paper and they roll all these trees on Toomer's Corner after big football wins. I'm sure they do basketball. There just haven't been as many big wins in basketball prior to Bruce Pearl being here, but he's brought a lot. They are the Auburn Tigers, but they also say War Eagle. They've been to 1 Final Four. Unfortunately, again, that was they beat us in 2019. Kind of got messed over in the Final Four with Virginia with a bad call, or they may have won a national championship that year. I think we beat them 3 times that year, and they beat us in the 4th matchup. But their head coach is Bruce Pearl. Next one, BYU, the Cougars. Notable alumni, Mitt Romney, former senator and presidential candidate. Steve Young, Jimmer Fredette, Ken Jennings, the Jeopardy champion, who's a genius. I guess he hosts some Jeopardy now. They are the largest church-affiliated university with a student body of over 33,000 people. So a lot. You know how many Final Fours they've got? None. But this guy who's there, I think was with the Phoenix Suns last year, has brought in a pretty good class. Their NIL funding is really good, so I think he's going to do a good job there. But their coach is Kevin Young. The next one, the Duke Blue Devils. We're not too big of Duke fans in our household. And disgusting, that's what I say. Notable alum, Richard Nixon, who's a former president, and then they have a whole list of NBA players that, I don't even want to mention their names, but y'all know them.
Leitner, Grant Hill.
So they've got a long list of NBA alums at their school. Coach K coached them from 1980 to 2022. They've been to 17 Final Fours. They have 5 national championships where they went back-to-back in 91 and 92. They won again in 2001. And then I always say in 2010 and 2015, Kentucky had the best teams in the nation at that point, and then somehow Duke ended up winning the national championship those years. But their current head coach is John Shire. Next one is the Florida Gators. notable alum, Tim Tebow, Marco Rubio, Erin Andrews, y'all know her, sideline reporter, stuff like that. On their campus, they have a house specifically for bats.
What?
That fly around. They have a house for bats. I thought it was a unique. Florida, yes. There's just a house on their campus that they have a house for bats flying around. So I don't know what that's all about, but I wouldn't want to go in the house. Sounds kind of creepy, but so I wouldn't want to be in that. Billy Donovan was their coach when they went back to back with their national title teams in 2006 and 7. That group had I can't remember his first name. I think Lee maybe. I think it was Humphrey. He was down here from Maryville, but they won back to back in 2006 and 7. They've been to 5 Final Fours. Billy Donovan, I think, was the coach. No, Lon Kruger, I think, was in 1994. I think he coached them to that one, and then I think Donovan, I think he had taken over by 2000, so he took them to 4 Final Fours. Took them to 2 national championships. They had, that group with Joakim Noah, Al Horford, Torian Green, I believe it was, Corey Brewer, and then the Humphreys. Had a good group. They were tough to deal with. So had a good. The current coach is Todd Golden. He's done a really good job right now. Florida's playing as hot as anybody, or they're as hot as anybody in the country. So it's going to take a really good team to beat them and knock them off. And they better hope for a bad shooting night throughout all that. The next team's the Houston Cougars. I know they had, I think that was Clyde Drexler, I believe Hakeem Elijah won, I think, on that team. So that's kind of some of their notable alum. Before big games, Cougar fans rubbed the paws of the Cougar statues in the Cullen Family Plaza. So would you all, for good luck, would you go around rubbing Cougar statues' paws?
No.
Sounds kind of weird, but I don't know. I guess it's their tradition. They've been to 6 Final Fours. Most recent 2022. Prior to that, the last year was the year I was born. Have not won a national championship. Their coach is Kelvin, do not call me Kevin Sampson. I don't know if y'all heard the little spiel he went on. The reporter said something about Gonzaga the other day, and he corrected him and said, it's not Gonzaga, it's Gonzaga. He said, that's like when people call me Kevin instead of Kelvin. And he said, my mom said when I was a kid and people called me Kevin, he said, she told me to always correct him, say, it's not Kevin, it's Kelvin. So I'm going to start calling him Kelvin. Do not call me Kevin Sampson. So he's a good coach, really good defensive team. Their offense is better this year than it has been in the past, so they got a really good shot of possibly cutting the nets down this year as well. The next team, your Kentucky Wildcats. Notable alum, Happy Chandler, Pat Riley, the Miss Elizabeth from WWF with the Macho Man. Oh, yeah. And then, again, you've got a ton of several professional athletes ranging from football to baseball to basketball, all kinds of guys, John Wall, Patrick Patterson, DeMarcus Cousins, Devin Booker, Anthony Davis, Rex Chapman, Jeff Shepard. You got Mark Pope. You got all kinds of former alum that you could name. Current, I guess, De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk. There's all kinds of current NBA players who are still playing. About any NBA game you turn on, you're going to see a Kentucky player in it. Kentucky got the name Wildcats after a victory over Illinois in football. The head of the military department said they fought like Wildcats, and that's kind of how it picked up.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that either. I've never heard that until I got reading up about this. 17 Final Fours is what they've been to, with the last one coming in 2015. 8 national championships, second to only UCLA. 1948, 49, 51, 58, 78, 96, 98, and 2012. So a lot of history here in Kentucky. Started with Adolph Rupp, then went to Joe B. Hall, then Eddie Sutton, Rick Pitino, Tubby Smith, and we brought in Billy Gillespie, and then John Calipari, now Mark Pope. Our tradition has been usually great coach, good coach, then a drunk. So you had Rupp, who was great, Joe B. Hall, who was good, Eddie Sutton, who was a drunk. Then you had Rick Pitino, who was great. You had Toby Smith, who was good. You had Billy Gillespie, who was a drunk. Then you have John Calipari, who's been great. It's yet to be seen what Mark Pope, if he breaks the trend and continues another great coach. He's had a great year one, so we'll see how that goes. Next team, the Maryland Terrapins. My notable alum, Jim Henson, the guy who created the Muppets, like Kermit the Frog and all them. Boomer Esiason, Connie Chung, who was a reporter back in the day when I was growing up. Kind of a fun fact about them, Queen Elizabeth II of England attended her first American football game in Maryland. So that was a long time ago, I'm sure. They have 2 Final Fours in 2001 and 2002, and actually won the national championship with Gary Williams coaching in 2002. Their current head coach for now, at least, is Kevin Willard. I don't know if y'all been paying attention to what he's been talking about. But somebody straight up asked him yesterday, like, if he was going to become Villanova's next coach, and he didn't really answer the question, didn't deny it. So I don't know if he's just trying to get Maryland to pay him more or what, but I think it's kind of a difficult thing when you're thinking you're playing the Sweet 16 game tonight, and your coach won't commit to saying he's staying or what. So that could be a key storyline going into tonight. Your Michigan Wolverines, notable alum, Gerald Ford, former president, Madonna, Tom Brady, and Michael Phelps. James Earl Jones, y'all remember what movie he's in that y'all watch a lot?
No.
The Sandlot.
Yeah.
I believe I think it's him, the guy who he's the beast owner or whatever in the Sandlot. I believe that's who it is, if I got the right guy. I might be telling the wrong thing. Again, facts, who knows? We may be making them up as we go sometimes. Michigan has been to 8 Final Fours. They had a national championship, and I did not know this, and I got reading this. I didn't know this whole situation, but in 1989, they won the national championship. Their coach was Bill, I guess you pronounce it Frieder. He was the coach, but after the season, he accepted the head coaching position at Arizona State. So Bo Schembechler, who I believe, if I remember correctly, coached Michigan in football, he was the current AD at the time, and he said that the Bill Frieder was wanting to continue coaching, but Schembechler didn't want him to do it because he said, if you're going to Arizona State, I don't want you coaching now. So they let assistant Steve Fisher take over, who led them to a national championship in 1989, and then of course he recruited a few years later the Fab Five with Chris Webber, Juwan Howard, Jalen Rose, Jimmy King, and Ray Jackson, one of the more famous groups of players to ever be recruited at one school, not the same recruiting class. But their current coach is Dusty May, who came from Florida Atlantic. He's got them to the Sweet 16 in his first year, doing a great job there. The next team, the Michigan State Spartans, notable alumni, Magic Johnson, Draymond Green. They do something weird during their finals weeks at school. They call it the Midnight Scream. So students go out the week of finals, and at midnight they're able to just scream as loud as they want to. I would like to scream as loud as I want to. Sometimes I scream at Amari Williams through the TV because he won't go up and dunk the ball. So sometimes I want to scream. They've been to 10 Final Fours, have 2 national championships in 1979 when, remember who played on that team? Magic Johnson played against Larry Bird in the national championship. Michigan State went on to win that, and then they won it again with Mateen Cleaves in 2000. Their current coach is Tom Izzo, who has led them to several Final Fours. At one point, he'd went so many years, and like if you were in their program from a freshman to a senior, like at some point you had went to a Final Four. So they went like 99, 2000, 2001, 2005, 2009, and 2010. So through that stretch, at least one of your 4 years, if you stayed there, you'd made your way to a Final Four. So it was a pretty impressive run, but yet they only won one while he was there. Getting closer to the end here, your Ole Miss Rebels, notable alum Archie Manning, Eli Manning. Ole Miss was the founding member of the SEC in 1932. They have 0 Final Fours as well, so 0 national championships. Got a good coach who has been to a national championship game, Chris Beard. So I think it's they got a chance if they get hot, they shoot it well enough.
Beat Michigan State and Auburn.
I think they got the talent to. Purdue Boilermakers. Their notable alum, Neil Armstrong. Y'all remember him? Heard of him?
Mm-hmm.
First man that did what?
Went to space.
Walked on the moon. And then another notable alum that you may know, Drew Brees, was quarterback there back during, I guess, when I was in high school. Orville Redenbacher, you know him?
Nope.
You should, as much as you like popcorn. He was the founder of the popcorn that bears his name, and that's where he went, was to Purdue. They have 3 Final Fours, with the most recent coming last year, where they went to the national championship game and got beat by UConn. But they have 0 national championships. Your Texas Tech Red Raiders, your notable alums, Cliff Kingsbury, Patrick Mahomes. Y'all should recognize those names. They have 2 mascots, the Masked Rider and Raider Red. Final Fours, they've been to 1 in 2009 with current Ole Miss head coach Chris Beard. He took them to the national championship game where they got beat that year. They have 0 national championships. Their current coach is Grant McCaslin. I guess how you pronounce it, I don't know. And then the last team of the Sweet 16 here is your Tennessee Volunteers. Notable alum, you have Peyton Manning, trying to think who played on a baseball team last year. What was the guy, the Christian Moore? Pat Summitt coached there for years. Philip Fulmer. You got several names there that people would recognize. Tennessee earned the name Volunteer State during the War of 1812 due to the state's militia's key role in the military spirit of its men. So that's the reason they got called the Tennessee Volunteers. How many Final Fours have they been to?
0.
How many national championships?
0.
But that could all change this year. The current coach is Rick Barnes. So just going through that gets through all your Sweet 16 teams. So hope you enjoyed that little, kind of learning a little bit about each one of them and different things right there. So we're going to go back through, pick our brackets from here on out, picking the Sweet 16 with the teams that are left. So give us those matchups. We'll make our picks the way we think.
Alright.
I don't think my current bracket, I think you said I missed 3 in my 16, so I've got 13 of the 16. I don't know how your all's brackets are doing right now.
Not good.
But, all right, give us the first matchup here, and we'll pick it on out.
Alright, Auburn, Michigan.
I think I'm going to go with Auburn. They've kind of been not as great here toward the end of the year, but I still think they can get things going in the right direction. Definitely more talented than Michigan, so I'm going to go Auburn as well.
All right. Ole Miss, Michigan State.
Who y'all going with?
Ole Miss. I'm going to go Michigan State.
I don't know. Michigan State would probably be the pick, but it depends on how Ole Miss shoots it. If they're on, I think they're capable. I'm going to go with Bam. I'm going to go Ole Miss in this one. I think that might be more my heart with the SEC, but I think Ole Miss has the talent to beat Michigan State. I can't remember when they play. It may be tonight. All right, next matchup.
Florida, Maryland. Florida.
I think Florida will beat the brakes off Maryland. I think they're going to beat them to death.
All right. Texas Tech, Arkansas. I'm going to go Arkansas.
You know, Cal, he has this trend of usually winning a game that he shouldn't.
Arkansas.
So you're going Arkansas. You're going Arkansas. But then he usually loses a game that he probably, and I know that as far as seed wise that they're the underdogs, but and they get Adu Thiero back tonight, but I don't know. I'm gonna say he slips up and Texas Tech beats them. But Arkansas in their bracket moves on.
Okay.
All right, moving on.
Let's see. So, Duke, Arizona. I'm going to go Duke.
Arizona is playing well, but I think Duke's just too talented. I think Duke takes this.
I got it wrong. You got 4. Because I forgot about BYU beating Wisconsin.
Oh, okay.
You got 4 wrong. BYU, Alabama.
I'm going to say this is going to be a high-scoring game.
Alabama.
But the scoreboard may I think Alabama will end up winning it. I do think it will be closer than people think. I think BYU will played them close, but I think Alabama's got too much offense for them.
Correct. Houston and Purdue.
I think
Houston.
Houston. I think defense is good enough. Purdue has shot it well here lately, but I think Houston's offense is better this year than it has been. So I think Houston will take this one as well. And then the matchup we're all waiting for.
Kentucky and Tennessee.
All right, what y'all's thoughts on this one? This is a hard one in our household. We're kind of a house divided here.
I'm gonna go with Kentucky.
What are you going with?
Kentucky.
All right, so here's my breakdown of the game. The two times Kentucky and Tennessee has played this year, Tennessee has shot the ball awful. I mean, the first time they shot like 45 threes and hit not many. Second time, Kentucky didn't shoot it as well, but I think in those games, Kentucky has shot like 50% and has really shot it well, and Tennessee has not shot it well. I can't imagine Tennessee shoots as bad as they have the previous game, because now last week up at Rupp, they shot the lights out. Then all of it, like Ziegler was shooting it well, Lanier is just lights out right now, Mayshak was shooting it well, Milicic, I mean, Milicic is who's kept Tennessee in games so far this year when them and Kentucky have played. I think the difference in the game, Ziegler usually controls the game. He's not particularly played well against Kentucky. So I can see him having a breakout game, but I think the difference is Butler is so if Butler can stay healthy and not have to go out or get in foul trouble, I think Butler can contain Ziegler. And then that leaves, I think you've got to put Oweh on Lanier, and those are Kentucky's two best defenders. And I think if you can contain those two and force others to beat you, I think Kentucky has a shot. Now, beating a team 3 times is extremely hard. If Tennessee can keep the game in the 60s or low 70s, I think they got a shot. If it gets into the upper 70s and the 80s, I'm not sure they can score enough. So my head says it's hard to beat a team 3 times. The head says Tennessee, but I just can't do it. My heart's going to say Kentucky, so I'm going to pick Kentucky just because I just can't.
Elite 8?
Yeah, the Elite 8 matchups right here.
Auburn, Ole Miss.
I think Auburn. Again, I think Auburn's when Auburn's rolling, I'm not sure anybody can beat them.
All right, now Florida, Arkansas.
I mean, I'm going Florida. I think Florida's too good. I think Arkansas may beat Texas Tech, but I just think Florida is.
Cal coaches good and underdog matchup.
So if you're saying if Cal can make it to the big game, you think he wins that game?
Yes, I think.
So we're going to say Florida, so that's who moves on in the bracket, but you're saying Arkansas.
Yes.
Okay. Next one.
Duke.
Alabama. This is kind of going to be another one of those games, I think. Duke's going to have to score.
I'm going to say Alabama.
Roll Tide. Wow.
Duke can score too, and Proctor, that I think it was Tyrese, shot he hit like 7 or 8 threes the other night in that last game they played against Baylor. But I think if Alabama is hitting the way they're capable of hitting, granted Duke's going to play good defense. I think we're they're the only team like in top 5 offense and defensive efficiency. But I don't know. I think Alabama's got the firepower to actually beat Duke. It's just that they're hitting. But my question with Duke is the ACC has been so weak this year. It's been the ACC has been so weak this year that I don't know if they've played.
I'm going with Bama.
Somebody. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see that they're playing, and I think Duke's one of the most talented teams in the country. But it's just going to be interesting to see when they play against start playing against these more physical teams. If that's going to catch up with them. So I'm going to say Alabama.
Roll Tide.
Again, I think that's more heart because I think Duke's probably the better team, but I'm going to say Alabama. Houston, Kentucky. What's your thought on that?
I think, again, like Tennessee, if we can make it in the 70s and 80s, I think we win. But if we don't, I think we lose.
What about you, Ben? Who do you think?
Kentucky.
So who are you picking?
I don't know yet.
Houston's good, and their offense is better this year too. And shooting in domes, I can't imagine you're going to shoot well in the dome twice. And I think Houston is really good, and I'm not sure we can beat Tennessee a third time. So I'm probably going to say Houston in this. I'm going to say Houston goes on. So you got to make the call, Jax.
I'm gonna go Kentucky.
I know. But he makes the decision because I said Houston.
I think Butler, because the Sharp's the point guard, isn't it?
I think so.
I think Butler can shut him down, and I think Williams with, I can't remember his name, their post guy, and Card can have their guy. I think Kentucky wins.
All right, Cats, move on. All right, Final Four matchups. That gives us 4 ACC teams. Wouldn't that be something?
Auburn and Florida.
We all said Auburn when we did it last week, and I still think Auburn is more talented and has better depth than
I'm
Florida.
going with Auburn.
Florida can score with them, and Florida's got the size to match them as well. But I'm going to.
I gotta say Florida.
I'm going to say Auburn, but I don't know. I think Florida can win it all. I think Florida's good enough they can win the whole thing. So, yeah. So we're going to move Auburn on. But
Alabama, Kentucky.
this
To
is
beat a team
well,
4 times.
Yeah, hard to beat a team 4 times. This is kind of one of those things though with the Kentucky-Tennessee thing. I mean, you beat them. We beat Tennessee twice. Alabama's beat us 3 times. But it's. I don't think we're a great matchup for Tennessee, but we're not a great match, or Alabama's not a great matchup for us. And I don't know if we got the firepower to beat them. So
I personally think we can figure them out if we play them a 4th time.
I'm going to say Alabama.
Alabama. I'm going with Kentucky.
You're going with Kentucky. All right. So Alabama, Auburn national championship game.
Auburn.
I'm going to say Auburn. I think they got the talent. They can defensively. They can shut Alabama down, and they can get with Janai Broom. I think they can. Would I say that wrong?
No, I'm mistaken with someone else.
Who got Johnny?
Yeah.
But I think Bruce Pearl gets his first national championship this year in a clash at the Iron Bowl. So looking forward to it. Anything y'all got left breaking down?
Go Cats.
What we have come to find out though, should have more videos this week because we have made the decision. We are, when this podcast comes out, the Thursday night game will probably have been over by that point. But we have made the decision. We are heading to Indianapolis because I don't think Kentucky and Tennessee have ever played in the NCAA tournament that I can remember in my lifetime. Us being a house divided and it as close as what it is, so we're gonna. Tickets have finally dropped to where they're not. You don't have to cut your arm off to pay for them. So now we may be hanging from the rafters. So if anybody's got any better tickets that they would like to offer us, we need 5 of them. But we're going to try to make the trip to Indy and just kind of take in the atmosphere because I think it's going to be a good one. I think Purdue, I think they're just like an hour away from Indianapolis, so they should have a good crowd. Kentucky, being as close as they are in Tennessee. Now, Houston, I don't know how well their fans travel, but that's a farther drive for any of them. They kind of got hosed with being the 1 seed in that region because they're going to be the farthest away with the teams that are left. But I think there will be a ton of blue up there. We had to deal with a lot of orange last week and hearing Rocky Top 4 billion times. I'm hoping to hear a lot of Cats chants tomorrow night. And hopefully the Cats can pull it out. If not, it's not going to be a disappointing season, even in that, because going into it,
we made it out of the first round.
Yeah, I'm just glad you make it to the tournament. You made it out of the first round. You made it to the Sweet 16. Now, losing is never acceptable, but like with the injuries that we've had this year to be where we're at, and still your overall probably best player is out for the season, and us still in the Sweet 16, going against a team that you've beat twice. Once without him already, got a good shot, but percentages are you may not win that one because again, it is hard to beat a team 3 times. But we're looking forward to going up there and good atmosphere and cheering the Cats on, and hoping when we get back on here next week that hopefully we'll be preparing to watch a Final Four with the Cats in it. But we'll see how that goes. But nothing else about the tournament here. One last thing I want to leave you with, trying to leave you with a Bible verse before we get off here. But Matthew 26:41, it says, "Watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak." So you just got to kind of ask yourself, are you going to serve your flesh or are you going to serve the spirit? It was never promised that we would be, that we wouldn't, it's not a sin to be tempted, but it's a sin when you fall to that temptation. So in situations that come up and you are tempted in those situations, are you going to follow the flesh or are you going to follow the spirit? And that's kind of a daily thing that we always got to worry about, because life's going to throw you many curveballs, and you just got to, it's how you react in those situations. So in those times when you may be feeling weak, are you going to follow that flesh or are you going to follow the spirit there? Because even when Jesus was tempted, the way he always responded was, as it is written. He always went back to the Word of God there, and so he always relied on God's Word as well. And it was as it is written, and this is what the Word says. So how are you going to respond in those situations? Are you going to follow the flesh? Or are you going to follow the Spirit? So pray that each of you have that relationship with the Lord where you can follow Him and not give in to that temptation, different things. That pray that you always keep your eyes focused on Him. And as we close up here, anything else from you all? All right, so we finish up here.
Go Cats!
Go Cat. Hope y'all have a great week enjoying this Sweet 16 Elite 8 games this weekend. We look forward to getting back here with you next week. Hope we have a safe trip. Hopefully we'll have some good stories to tell coming into next week. The video that we posted, we'll kind of post it separate on our YouTube page. You can get on Spotify. I'm still trying to figure out about the Apple podcast as far as getting it on there, but you can look it up on Spotify or YouTube under Mouth of the Holler Sports. And please, comment on these, because we enjoy reading comments and different things like that. So please comment if there's anything you want us to talk about or anything.
Ask questions.
Anything you'd like to hit on, if you got questions about anything, and we'll try to answer them. But we're just trying to do this as father and sons right here, and these two, I think, are ready to do something. They're over here playing around with something, I don't know. But we encourage you to put comments, and we'll try to answer if you put any questions or anything like that. So hope y'all have a great week, and we'll see y'all later. Goodbye.
Go Cats!
Go Cats! You'll give it a go. Oh, C-A-T-S, Cats, Cats, Cats.